Patrick here. Have Keto Will View. 8 questions with, and it's Thursday night, July 28th, and we are live. Glad to be here. Glad you guys are going to show up, come on in and show up and check out our interview. We're interviewing Crystal Lowe tonight. Crystal is she's got to have one of the most interesting careers that I've ever seen, I've ever followed. Most actors, they always get pretty much, a certain type, like a comedic type or dramatic type or the girl next door type or the serial killer type. You know how it is. Not quite typecasting, but you pretty much see them in those particular roles. I mean, once in a while they will cruise over to other roles, but hi, Katie. Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for sure. We will, but Crystal has her career has put her in places where she could be everywhere and nowhere at once. She started her career started at age 15. She started doing TV shows. Thank you, Katie. She started on TV shows. She went ahead like shows like Stargate and yeah, I think that's what most people are going to do. I think they're mostly going to be watching the replay. But she got her start really young, and she was born here, but she grew up in Hong Kong, and she learned fluent Cantonese, and she's got such an exotic look to her as well. I first saw her in wow. What's the first movie I ever saw Crystal in? It was Insomnia with Al Pacino and Robin Williams. That was the first time I ever saw her. Now, her role in that movie was, while she didn't have any lines because her character was passed away, spoiler alert, but she played a huge role. I mean, her character was the reason why the whole movie existed. Hi, Betty. How are you? I think it's going to be a tough one tonight. So she went from there. She pretty much became, as she went on. She also did science fiction. She did a Primeval, New Order. Primeval was a great series that started off in the UK, sensational show, and then in Canada they spun it off. It's just going to be. I just hope people show up for it. I had hoped to see some people. So hopefully we'll get the word out a little bit. Yeah, we shall see. She starred in Primeval New Order, and that's actually for us Signed Sealed Deliver fans. That was not her first time working with Jeff Gustafson, who played Norman on the show. Actually, she and Jeff played together on Primeval, New Order, which was really cool. She had a really good look then too. It was a real fun show because Primeval was a really fun show, and they spun it off for Canadian audience, but I guess it didn't do as well as they had hoped for, and unfortunately, only got canceled after one season of 13 episodes. Hey, Hobbs, I see donuts. Thanks, Hobbs. I appreciate it. So she then went ahead and started doing some other Scream Queen movies. Of course, we all know her from her three biggest well-known horror movies. She did Final Destination 3, and is the proud owner of having the worst death in the series. Her and her friend Shilin Simmons. They both hide in a tanning booth. I was doing a little research on that too, on that role, and how crazy was this? That was a practical effect. That wasn't a practical stunt. That scene, crazy. Um, so Sheldon Simmons played Ashley, and Crystal played Ashlyn, and they were best friends, and they died together. And like I said, in Final Destination's worst death, in my opinion. Hi, Bud Files. How are you, sir? Um, then she went on to do. She did a Wrong Turn 2, that was directed by Joe Lynch. So also know too that was going to be a very, very exciting movie, because Joe Lynch is a terrific director. And then she did the remake of Black Christmas 2006, and she played one of the college co-eds there. Uh, she started sliding out. She started sliding out for these roles, um, as because she started doing more and more mainstream roles. She started doing. She did roles such as. Wonder. She started doing more comedies. She did. See, how was it? Hot Tub, yeah, Hot Tub Time Machine. She did that. She was very funny in that. She did even a cute comedy called Benchwarmers 2, Breaking Balls, which was another cute movie. Uh, so she has done a lot of things. And then she got a break, not a break necessarily, but different. She got a family drama called Sign Seal Deliver. What a perfect role for the perfect actress. So cute. That show is wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And I remember watching it. I remember seeing her name on it, so I said, "I want to watch this. I want to watch it." I knew nothing about it other than that Martha Williamson had created it, and Martha Williamson also did "Touched by an Angel." So I knew it was going to be a family film. It was going to be family friendly, and it was. It's on Hallmark, and it is. Um, the Final Destination, yes, yeah, the Final Destination, man. What a terrific series. The third one is my favorite one. Um, Shellen and Crystal are my two favorite Screen Queens. So it worked out well. Um, and the really cool thing about it is they stayed close friends after the movie, which is something you don't really hear about a lot. A lot of times, an actor will do a role, and then as soon as it's over with, they just move on. But Crystal and Shellen are they're friends, and they see each other and they talk to each other. And in fact, so that was good to see. I was glad to hear that. She starred in Sign, Seal, Deliver, which is about a group of four people from four different walks of life, and they come to work at the dead letter office in Denver, Colorado. Um, this goes ahead, and what happens is they become what they call postables. Oh, greetings! Glad you're here, Hobby Motors. They become a group of friends, and they help out people whose mail has gotten lost. They track down the letters that have gotten lost, and there's always a story tied to it, and they always go to help the person involved with the lost letter. And it started in 10 episodes. It started in 10 episodes of a series, and then they switched it over to a movie series. And the movies just progressed and progressed and got more and more popular as it got on. I dare say it's definitely I think it's a top, if I'm not mistaken, it's the top 5 for Hallmark in terms of ratings. Every movie that they've done has gotten bigger and bigger. And so we don't know what's going to happen to that. We're hoping that the series will continue, but it's just a remarkable career. She still does other things too. She actually played in a really fun a movie on Lifetime, The Wrong Wedding Planner, which is I wish they would release some of those movies on DVD or Blu-ray, because I would love to see that movie, because that has Crystal and Kristen Booth, who plays her friend on Science Sealed Delivered. Well, imagine if the characters of Shane and Rita totally got flipped upside down and shaken, and that's what you get for the wrong wedding planner. Um, Kristen plays an unhinged party planner trying to sabotage Crystal's wedding. It's got to be a fun, and it's on Lifetime, so you know it's got to be a hoot. Um, let's see. Well, I've talked to Crystal now for, gosh, her and I first started talking on Twitter like forever ago. And then we just slid over to Instagram and stayed friends there. I've known her for on social media for quite a while. Um, uh, there was a gap where she took off from social media for a minute. And well, we'll definitely ask her about that. I have a sneaky feeling about that, but we'll ask, because it seems like more and more. It does seem like more and more well-known actors and artists are taking time off. They're just pulling the plug. They're saying, "I need a break," and that's what they do. In fact, that's what I'll be doing. I'll be doing this. This will probably be my last interview for a month. Maybe never. Who knows? Um, I haven't figured it out yet, but yeah, I'm going to take a break in August and recharge the battery, and I think a lot of people are doing that now. But I'm looking forward to asking Crystal a lot of questions. We will try to get your questions too, for sure. If you have good questions, we will go ahead and pop them up. Uh, I'm not sure about tomorrow. Wow, I mean, I got a lot of. I don't know what happened to our guest tomorrow. I don't think. I think he's just bailed on me. It happens. First time. First time is only actually just done that. So this will probably be the last show I do for the month. Unfortunately, I'm not really sure if we're going to be doing the IFC show on Sunday either. Our host for the show, American Werewolf in New Jersey. Hey, Monkey, how are you, sir? Um, he got a new job, and he's working nights, so he is scheduled to host this episode, but I'm not so sure because like I said, he's working, and I know that Ben has been feeling underneath the weather. Oh, thank you, Pete. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thanks, Hobbs. I hope we get a few heads in here. Hosting for the IFC show. Really, what it is that everybody who's on the IFC roundtable, whenever the month comes up, because we only do one show a month, they the one each month comes by, and someone hosts the show, and they pick out the movie that we watch, and then at the end of the month, we all go to their channel, and then we do the show. And Mike was supposed to do it this Sunday, but he got a new job, and Ben's feeling underneath the weather. So I'm not exactly sure if we're going to be able to do the show this month. Um, we might just go ahead and push it back till August and have David host it. David's horror, he might host it. So and maybe by that time, maybe Mike's job, it might change as far as the time goes. Maybe that will happen. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not. I'm if not, and that's generally what happens. It just rotates. Every host rotates. Hey, Andre, how are you, sir? Glad you're here. Glad you're here. We'll be talking to our guest, Crystal, here in a couple of minutes. Um, she'll be here. It's gonna be fast. Here she is on time. This is gonna be fast and furious, boys and girls. So hang on to your hats. There she is.
Hi.
Hi.
Forgive me, I'm just snacking away.
Oh no, gosh, no. Yeah, I totally get that.
I
I
gotta eat
totally
when I
get.
can.
Oh, I mean, do you ever feel like you're just do you ever feel balanced, or do you feel like you're walking on your tiptoes every day?
Yeah, no, there's no balance. I threw that out the window. I don't even try to do that anymore. Just it just is what it is. I'm on a roller coaster and I'm just that's okay. I'll just ride it.
Now, isn't that interesting that you mentioned roller coaster, right?
Yeah, yeah. I forgot about that.
You know what's cute about that is that what I really loved about that, I was doing a little bit of doing some research and whatnot. And the first thing and the fun thing is, and you touched upon this yesterday when we talked, with the fact that you and Shellen are still friends.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I also actually talk to Glenn Morgan all the time. He's become like a mentor to me. Um, and so he's really been helping me through my film process right now, as basically coming on as a mentor for me to ask any questions to. And he's just the best. So I'm super lucky. I've kept some great relationships with some of the people.
That's something I touched upon briefly, and it's always perplexed me because I've always thought that like after every movie, you got everybody walking out off the set with a Rolodex of everybody they met, because you always hear that every time in the special features, you'll hear the cast and crew say it was like a family, it was a family, it was a family, and then all of a sudden, then you say, well, are you in touch with some of these folks? And they'll sit there and say, no, I haven't seen them since or whatever, and it's just like,
Yeah, because
yeah.
it's kind of summer camp. You know what I mean? Remember when you went to summer camp and you were kids and you were like, I just made the best friends of my life. We are BFFs forever. I am going to write you. I'm going to send you MSN. I'm going to write letters to you every day. And you do, for the first little while. And then life happens and you do another film and then you become family because you spend 15 hours a day with these people, for a extended period of time. But when you leave, you go on to other projects and then you get to know those really closely. So you only really, I would say for myself, I only have, I always say, I wonder who I'm leaving the party with when I start a project. I love all the people at the party, but I wonder who I'm leaving with, and
Right.
like Kristen Booth is, I left the party with Kristen, and I'll never ever not be at a party with Kristen.
Oh,
She's with me forever. So
yes, I see that. I
it's just a
see that.
different thing.
Um, she's got the honestly, I have to say this about Kristen. She's got the prettiest eyes
Uh-huh.
working today.
She
Her
does.
eyes are she just there. I don't know if you remember this actress or not, because I'm a little older than you. There's an actress named Meg Foster.
I do. Yeah, I do remember her. Yeah.
Remember how her eyes just like they're just gorgeous. So
Yeah.
light baby blue, and they always stood out. Every time you saw a role, the first thing you saw her is her eyes. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I see that. I
That
see that. You guys talk to each other a lot.
all the
Uh,
time. I mean, she was literally in the hospital the day after my daughter was born, holding my 1 day old. We're like sisters. We still are. She comes into town to stay with us. Like if she's her and I share beds, we hang out. Like we're sisters.
right.
Yeah.
I just was mentioning before you got here. I was mentioning how you and her did the wrong wedding planner, and
Yeah.
good Lord, I wish I could see that. I want to see
It
that.
was That was so fun. I ran into an old producer that I'd worked with for years ago, and then he was like, "Hey, do you want to do this other something else?" And then he said, "Oh, I have a movie. Would you want to do it? It's like a thriller kind of movie for Lifetime." And I was like, "Well, I don't know. Would you bring Kristen Booth on as the bad guy?" And he was like, "Yeah, great, awesome." And so that was it. And I called her and I was like, "Dude, we got to do this." I mean, it was just so fun and campy and over the top, and it's a really fun series of movies. You know, the wrong killer, the wrong wedding planner, wrong babysitter,
Yeah,
wrong shoemaker,
it's my time.
whatever. But super fun for her and I. Like we just, you know, every night we drink wine and run lines and then go and shoot this fun, silly film. It was great.
I was just cracking up because I know that after the I know that she because you guys see again, you guys always do something different. I mean, it's like like I was mentioning how some actors get placed in certain areas. Like they're good for this particular role or this role or this role, but for you and Kristen, you guys can go anywhere.
Thank you. What a
That's just like that's a rare thing.
I
It
do think
really is
that
rare.
being in Canada helps that because when they shoot in Canada, they're a little more open to seeing people that they might not have seen before. Whereas I feel like in Los Angeles, the pool is just so big in Los Angeles that you could be so specific. My manager, uh, my manager once told me, that he found a breakdown and they were looking for a African American actor named Francis Kingston who played soccer in South Africa, and he laughed because it was like it was literally described him to a T. Like it wasn't even, and he just laughed. He goes, me and 50,000 other people. So here in LA, you can be so specific and find like a group of that. Whereas in Canada, when they look, they're like, oh, we can't be as specific because the pool just isn't as big. So why don't we open it up to seeing other people? And then they get pleasantly surprised, I think. So we get the opportunity to try new things.
Some of the folks in the chat are coming in. There, our friend Georgiana saying hello, and Jenna's here. She says she loved the wrong. Is it the wrong? Yeah, the wrong wedding planner.
Yeah, it was so fun.
So crazy.
So fun and so silly and so great. Like, and Boothie and I have been talking about a sequel for that. Like, what could we do? Just so that we can continually do these fun movies together and hang out. Any excuse for us to hang out, we're doing.
They didn't kill her character.
No.
Nice. No. Of course not, because Lifetime's smart.
No, there's options now.
Yeah. They're so clever. I mean, most of these movies are always looking to kill the bad guy at the end. It's like, could you stop doing that? Because they create a good bad guy.
Yeah.
What's the worst bad guy you ever played?
I haven't really played that many bad guys. Now that I think of it, like I don't think I've played. I mean, Final Destination, we were kind of arrogant idiots, but I don't think I've had the opportunity. There was a kids show that I did years ago, and I cannot remember the name of it. R.L. Stein, maybe one of those kind of, and I did a guest star on it, and I played this evil villainy. I think I was like a vampire monster that was trying to, and the girl from Modern Family was in it. That episode, but that's like the only. I can't even think of any villains.
I can't either. And Ashley and Ashlyn were. I wouldn't say they're. I think they were just friends. They were just maybe they weren't. Maybe they didn't really pay attention to everything, but they were. Yeah. You and Sheldon were just magic together. You guys were so awesome.
Yeah, we're still really good friends too.
I know. I'm so tickled with that because you already know that I'm going to be asking you for. I want to interview. I want to talk.
I'll ask her. Yeah, she's not really acting as much anymore, but you never know.
You never know. That was a fun movie. That was my favorite one.
It was.
Your movie, Final Destination 3, the best of all the 5.
Oh,
and there's no doubt about the cast. The cast is like here's the cast of the 2, 3. I mean, you ever just look back and look at how much talent there was in Final Destination 3?
I think you don't really know what you're making, even when you're making it half the time. So you don't know if it's going to resonate. You don't know. I mean, I was so young. I could barely. Yeah. I had all I could see was a box around me of like, I'm on a movie set. Yay! That was it was a very limited viewpoint at that time in my life, but I had a great time making it, and I'm so grateful to have Glenn and Jim. I haven't talked to Jim in a while, but Glenn has been like, with everything that has happened with the Me Too movement, with me having a career where I've had to deal with many things in my life, Glenn was one of the people that really, and Jim, but Glenn stands out so much to me. He never, ever, ever made anybody feel uncomfortable. He was so warm and just like a normal human being and kind. And you know, in a fishbowl of sharks, it was always wonderful to see that there was, you know, just some other guppy fish like me who were like, "Hey, you want to hang out, guppy fish?" And then that was it. You know, it was nice. I'll always appreciate him for that.
But it's been an interesting road. Oh, they're saying, see, people know, these people know. Goosebumps, the horror hour by R.L. Stein.
Yes,
That's
that's the one. And I had claws, and I was a fun, campy kind of evil character. That was super fun.
oh, all right. Well, all right. I'm definitely gonna have to put that on my watch list to find. Yeah, because I was actually thinking about that, like, man, everything I've ever seen her is she's always played the you know, the lead, the good girl. Sometimes it doesn't end up that way. You know, Black Christmas.
Yeah.
And I mean, wow, Wrong Turn 2. You got to work with Joe Lynch.
Oh yeah, and who I just saw recently. He did like a reunion podcast. He was raising money for something, and all the cast got together, and I got to see him. He was lovely. He was such a funny dude.
He is.
Yeah, he was great. He's super, again, another guy who was really lovely and funny and not like a jerk, and you know, great to work with. And I had a good time. I left feeling good about the experience. It was great.
I tell you one thing you can learn from Joe Lynch, and I'm saying this, you know, in general.
Hmm.
I tell you one thing about Joe Lynch. That guy can cast his ass off. He could. I don't know how he does it. If I'm a director, if you know, a new director such as
Yeah.
yourself getting in there, and you feel like, oh no, there's no way in hell I can get all these actors to, you know, talk to Joe. That guy, he gets some a miracle cast for
Yeah.
this movie. I don't know how he does it, honestly, Crystal. It's just like,
He's
you know,
super normal and personable and kind. So I can imagine that people want to just work with him because he's funny, and you know, this industry is tough. There's lots of good and every industry is like this, but you know, it's a very ego driven industry at times. And so when you meet people that don't have that, you really want to work with them. You're like, sweet, we're just here to play and make some stuff. Yes, please.
I mean, you know, it's like I was looking. You know, I knew this going in. I knew that you know, you and Jeff had actually worked together before
Oh, and
in
Primeval.
Primeval.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Now I saw the first Primeval, the one you were spun off of.
Oh
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
that. That
It was
show was
great.
amazing.
You know, I'm so sad our show got canceled because I think
Dude.
they should have given it another year. But they changed the guards at Sci-Fi, and that happens a lot. And when with the changing of the guards, you know, they want to bring in their own fresh ideas and take the network in a different direction. And to their credit, they did Orphan Black, you know, after that, which was an incredible show. So I can't argue with them, but I do wish we got a second season. Just because it was so fun running from dinosaurs and chasing them. I mean, it was a blast. It really was. And
Love your look too.
I love working with Jeff because he's really good.
I wonder how many of the Postables realize that you did work with Jeff before you worked with them on Signed, Sealed, Delivered.
Excuse me, I have something in my throat. I think they know now because we've talked about it a lot. You know, and Jeff and I, of course, have known each other since we were teenagers. We went to the same high school together. We grew up together in the same small town.
Well, that explains a lot of the chemistry, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh my God, you're gonna have to forgive me, but I need to grab a quick water. Can you give me
Please,
1 second
so.
before I
No,
cough here?
please.
1 second.
Yes, Deanna. Jenna, you definitely need a Final Destination 3. But just be prepared. Just be prepared that Crystal's character has a not so pleasant ending. I just, you know, she really should know. You should really know that. Final Destination 3. Question for you. Did you get to use the tending booth to actually tan after her episode on DVD? Buy the episode since you can buy. Oh, to feel it on a time. Yes. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, because I do believe those were working tanning booths. Oh my God. I was watching the behind the scenes of that scene of your scene there. Oh Lord.
Yeah,
Your
there's a lot of screaming.
your
Lots.
stunt people deserved so much money.
Yeah, they
That
really
was
did because that burn gel had just been developed too in
yeah.
somebody's basement, which is now
Uh
used for every film. But like he just developed it in his basement, and these people were brave enough to be like, "Sure, I'll put that on and see if my skin burns."
yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's the first movie they used it on.
yeah, Like, who would be a guinea pig in that situation? Not me. There's no way
No.
I'm like, yeah, let's test out this burn gel on my skin for the next, 15 minutes. No thanks.
Yeah, there was this sitting there with it on. And the guy's like, yeah, I'm not. He put it on a rag and he put it on his hand. He's hosting it up there, going like, yeah, I'm not feeling anything here. This is good. This is good. I'm going like, well,
Yeah,
you gotta be crazy.
crazy.
Um, yeah, I have a feeling you didn't stick around for that, did you?
No, I did. I watched it
Did you
because I
watch
wanted
it?
to see. Of course, yeah, I was there. I was like, I gotta see this. I
Because that
watched
would have been like, yikes, because it's a new thing, and it's like, what if it doesn't exactly work? Um,
I was in
but
my
yeah, what
feelings.
incredible, and they were there for 30 seconds at a time. Now
Yeah.
you have to be honest with you, but you have to be honest. Were you scared for your stunt doubles?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I was absolutely terrified for them. I thought this is a bad idea, but they did it, and it
yeah.
worked out. I'm sure that guy's a millionaire now because I think his gel's used in, every film that uses burn gel. So pretty
Uh,
amazing.
so let's talk a little bit because I mean I know a lot of people here they know your horror past. I mean you came as a legitimate screen queen. But what I really like is the transition.
Mm.
That was cool. That's cool because you went from and you have comedic chops. You're
Oh,
very funny. I didn't even know it was you when I was watching Hot Tub Time Machine.
oh.
I didn't even know it was you. Honestly,
That's
honestly,
funny.
heaven, I'm sitting there, I'm laughing at all those guys are being so goofy and stuff, and all I know is just like this is a funny person. Who is this? Because well, I'll let the audience figure that out. But
Yeah.
also, oh my gosh, that's Crystal. Oh my gosh, she's hilarious. She's got to
Yeah,
do more of this, do more comedy.
I love comedy. That's all I want to do, to be honest. If I could just lean into that in the dramedy world, that's really where if I can go to work every day and laugh and act like a goofball and be silly and ridiculous, then that's the world I would love to live in. Um, my thing is to make people laugh and cry. That's my goal as a director and goal as an actor too. Because there's nothing better than both in a film, in my opinion.
Right. No, I agree with you. I agree. Um, and you did a really powerful movie that got a lot of a lot of attention and won a lot of awards.
Mhm.
You had a role in Wonder. Uh,
Oh
how,
yeah,
how
yeah.
did that come about?
It's funny. I just auditioned for it, but I actually auditioned for like the one of the science teachers. And I they ended up asking me to cold read for this other character. The director and I got along really well, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to cold read for this?" And I was like, "Okay." So I went outside and read. Cold read is when you get it like the audition piece that minute. So I went outside, spent 10 minutes with it, and came in, and we talked about it a little bit, and I did it, and then that was it.
One of the ladies is asking, did it affect their skin at all?
Oh,
No,
I don't think so.
no, no, no.
Not that I've heard.
Yeah, I mean they had a they stepped in buckets, and then they had all the gel put on them,
Hmm.
and they had to step into the accelerant, and then they laid back, and then they fired it up, and the stunt person had to, you know, as the director said, kick like hell,
Yeah.
kick the shit out of it.
Hmm.
And so that's what they were doing for 25 to 30 seconds, and then they would spray it off. But
Yeah.
I just think to myself, 30 seconds, that's got to be like an eternity, even in a control situation, you
When you're
know?
on fire, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I'm not sitting there thinking, I don't know I wonder what's on the craft table today. You
Hmm.
know, I'm just thinking,
No.
yeah. Um, so Wonder did really well for you. See, you got a lot of praise for your role.
Yeah, it wasn't a huge role, but I think it was an impactful role. I mean, I guess in that film, I am a villain, and I'm the only villain in that. I'm the only unredeemable character in that script. And they have a second one coming out, and it follows the kid who played my son. And he goes back, it looks beautiful. I just saw the trailer for it. He goes back to see his grandmother, I think, in Britain, to who kind of gets him straight. Because when you see his parents, you're like, oh, so the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? But even the kid is redeemable in a moment. Everyone in Wonder was redeemable. I don't think my character was. And you needed someone like me because there are people that are, think that way, and will prioritize their children over everything in terms of, not doing the right thing just to make their child excel. So I think it was important to have me in there, or that character in there anyways. But the writer was there and she was adamant. Like when I got that role, I think the reason I got it was because I said to the director, look, in the scene, we say, Augie, this child who deals with a deformity, gives my son a nightmare, right? And so I said to the director, well, does my son really have nightmares because of him? And he said, yes. I go, oh, okay. So because I have to wrap my brain around these characters, right? And I have to try. You can never judge your character. You have to empathize and understand where they're coming from in order to play them. And so I had to go, well, okay, if my child really is getting those nightmares as this character, then I'm going to fight for the death with my child, and I will, even if I'm in the wrong, I will never admit that. And if this child is hurting my child in any way, then I'll come forward and I'll fight no matter what. And so that, I understood the fight for your child. So I can definitely translate that into what this woman was doing. And the woman who wrote the book was, thanked me after, because she said, I didn't want her to come from just spewing hate. I wanted it to come from a place where she thought she was doing the right thing.
I think most parents feel that way. They don't, people say, there's always a villain, but to the villain himself, he isn't the villain.
They're villains. Villains don't think they're villains. They think they're doing everybody thinks they're doing it for the right reasons. I love Thanos is one of my favorite villains, because it leaves you going, oh, well, he's wrong, but he is doing it not systematic. He's just killing half the population, and those are the best villains because they make you question it. Same with Black Panther, the villain in Black Panther, Michael B. Jordan. I was like, well, he has a point, and there's nothing better than a villain that you can sort of go, I see where they're coming from. That's what makes them so good.
Are we letting through that you're an MCU fan? Are we a superhero fan here?
Some of them I love. Like, I don't watch all of them, but I am definitely going to see Thor for sure.
Are you going to watch The Boys?
Oh, The Boys, the series?
Yeah.
Yes, of course I am. My Boothie is in that, so I've already started watching it again.
I'm shocked. I when I saw her clipped in the movie, I'm going like, I think a lot of postables, their minds are going to be pop, because I'm just thinking like, I don't think everybody's mind was blown in that. I don't. I was just like, I'm like
that, and we just had a good laugh about it because she was just like, this is what my job is, and that's what it is. The array of emotions, on set was like, I don't know what this is. Okay, I'm here. I'm going to commit. Is this bad? Is this good? I don't know. And the thing about being on set is you're on there for so long, so many hours. Honestly, anything after 15 hours, you're like, I don't care. Can I just get pizza? Is somebody ordering pizza? Like you're so exhausted by the day and the work that, things can be blowing up around you. And you're like, great, that's fine. When am I wrapped? So I think she experienced a bit of that.
That's the funny thing is, when you and I started talking about this, it's like, I'm just like, to me, it was like when I saw you on Signed, Sealed, Delivered, and they're, like I said, I just laughed because for one thing, it's like, they're trying to hide you in some frumpy clothes, and it's just like excuses, but us fanboys over here, us horror fans, we know what she looks like. See, I wasn't lying. Like, that's right. I'm not. I got it. That's right.
So wonderful. I'll tell you. And I might have told this story before. So for the people watching who've heard this, I'm sorry, I'm repeating. But I had always, for years, wanted this photo shoot. Like in my mind, I was like, I want that photo shoot. The one where all the executives come and they stand around a computer and then they do this. Oh, I don't know. And then they, and then the photographer's yelling and the lighting is huge. Like I wanted that shoot because I'd modeled and I'd shot for Maxim and I'd shot for, but I wanted like a big grand shoot. And when we shot the poster for the series, one of the big posters, they flew out a really incredible photographer who had shot like all the top posters, with Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds and all these cool people. And I remember sitting next to Jeff and looking around, and there's the executives all staring at the thing. And I burst out laughing, and I almost started crying laughing. And he was like, "What's wrong with you?" It's just like, this is when I got the shoot. This is it. Here I am in dresses up to here, wearing tiny glasses and my hair slicked back and no makeup. And this is when I got the shoot. And I just thought it was the funniest thing, because Rita is the first time I got to be silly and fun and playful and, quirky and lean into that part of myself. She allowed me to do that. And so that's a true me, really, so it was such a wonderful feeling. I just laughed, whoever's up there. I was like, is this what you're, was this what you're away? Is this a ha 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 moment for you?
I think honestly, let's be honest, it was your Clark Kent moment.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And it is funny. I will tell you, I can't tell you how many people I've met that don't think that I'm Rita. I've had people argue with me and tell me I'm not Rita. I had a very drunk woman. She was like, "You're not Rita. I don't know who you are. You're a producer, but you're not Rita." I was like, "No, okay. I'm not going to argue." So that's kind of neat, because I'm like, I really just put glasses on and pull my hair back, but I guess I look that different. People don't know.
Yeah, they work so hard to make you look frumpy, and it's just like, yeah, I've already read this comic book. I know who Clark Kent really is. You're not fooling, because it was just so amazing. It's like, it was just like, I'm just sitting there going, like, because my friend, she's never watched your work, your past work, and so this is her first experience with you, and I'm sitting there and I start laughing. She goes, "What's so funny?" She says, "See how they have her made up? She's beautiful. You can't hide that. You just can't hide that. She's stunning."
Well, thank you.
And it's like, it's just so like, okay, we're gonna make her frumpy, and I did like the dance scenes that they have you dancing. That was really cute. That was really cute. Yeah.
It's my favorite thing to do. And working with Zach Santiago, who I also have known since I was like 20. Zach and I used to work in a nightclub together, and he would DJ downstairs and I would bartend upstairs. So we would see each other every night after work and have a beer and hang out or whatever, and here's Zach. And we just did Rama Drama, which was super fun. And Zach came. It was just such a blast. And dancing with Zach, that was one of my favorite days ever on set. We were both cry laughing, and Martha was back there, and Kevin, the director, just yelling, "Kick higher, do that," and yelling out these random things. And it was so fun. I love being stupid and dumb. And
see, that's the thing. One of the leading lady who actually come out there and say that. I want to be dumb. I want to be stupid and dumb. I mean, most actors would never come out there and ever admit that.
And there's I think we really put women in boxes. We do this to everybody, but we don't really want to see. I was really concerned with how I looked when I was young, so I was always, everything got to have hair and makeup and the whatever. I have to wear this, and everybody's wearing that. Thank God Instagram wasn't big when I was young, because who knows what I would have looked like. But playing bimbo and being silly are two different things. Do I want to play bimbo role? Not really. It's boring and one-dimensional, and women are not just that. But do I want to be silly and fun? And would I love to do what Kristen Wiig does? Yes. That my hero is somebody like, I have a lot of them, but in the acting world, it'd be like Sandra Bullock. Somebody that can laugh at herself. There's nothing better than someone that laughs at herself. Nothing.
I honestly, if I could have made just one casting change, I'm gonna. Jenna saying she loved meeting Zach at Rama Drama. Got to talk to him a lot. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, he's so.
Yeah, and she's also saying, Crystal, you are already so much fun. Hell yeah, you are. I think you and I, we talked for a long time. I know you talk to thousands. So when you do talk to individuals, what you say generally sticks with them.
Yeah.
I could not go through this interview without mentioning your hidden talent, your true hidden talent. The one talent that you might remember.
I have no idea. What is it?
Chocolate chip cookies.
Chocolate chip cookies. Oh, making them? I don't even know.
Yeah, you baked chocolate chip cookies. You would sit there and say, "I'm baking chocolate chip cookies." I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" And when we'd end up talking for chocolate chip cookies, and then I was on Twitter. You and I have known each other a long time.
Oh,
No, not
yes.
no,
Well,
not
I
like
did
that.
go through a baking phase. I also went through like
Yeah.
a cooking. I'm still going through a bit of a cooking phase because I really enjoy. Um, there's nothing better than like a glass of wine, and while I'm making some food, and like nobody's screaming at me, and by people I mean small children that I have birthed, and I get to just like cook the food and then drink the wine and put music on. I love that. So there was definitely a phase where I was like trying to bake, and I'm still attempting it. I'm trying to eat clean and eat healthy, and I'll be posting that stuff soon. The more I do it, the more I share because
I'm
I don't know, maybe
You know,
people.
I mentioned before you got here, you took off some time from social media. Uh,
Yeah.
I think, now I'd think about it. I think it was about the same time you were pregnant with your second one.
Yes,
Yeah.
it just got crazy. It got crazy for me. I was also really addicted to social media for a little while. Like Twitter, I was on there constantly.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I like being on Twitter. It's really fun. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but I love to debate. If I could have been a debate club president, I would have loved that when I was young. Um, so so sometimes I get in these debates and I really enjoy it. Like I really enjoy it. It's fun for me. But it was getting too consuming and I just had to take a breather. And I was growing a human being. And so he did not want me to go do anything except for like grow him. And that's okay. Yeah. He was
Yeah.
9 pounds when he was born. So I had a lot to grow, you know?
Um, do you say you like to debate? I mean, that must be for, politics wise or social issue wise.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like to debate, but I'm a little bit, I bring a lot of facts to the table, so a lot
Mhm.
of people tend not to stand too long,
Right.
like, because once you start presenting facts, all of a sudden, a lot of people just like, they get their little information from Fox News, and then after about 30 seconds, they had no more opinion to offer because
Yeah.
whatever they had got used up, and so then
Well,
they go away.
I mean, that is part of the big problem too with social media too, is that we are so in tune with just these clips of things. Clips,
Yeah.
clips, clips. It's getting shorter and short. Our attention span is so short. Like it
Mhm.
really is. I mean, I'm on TikTok because I'm obsessed with just looking at young, cool people who do cool things. And I'm like, and even I'm like, if it didn't interest me, I'm flipping in like a second, and I'm like, God, I gotta pull back and give myself a minute to you know, digest what these people are even doing. I'm not even giving them a minute because we're so programmed to just clip and then form an opinion on that tiny little clip that we just saw. You know, so
Um,
I'm definitely working on that.
No, I'm perfectly fine with social media. I don't do any crazy tendencies or any habits like that. I mean, my friends might tell you that, yeah, that guy sends more cat videos my way than I can know what to do with. But I don't think I send a lot of cat videos. I think
I just
this,
love. I don't know if you're on TikTok, but I have to say, like this next generation, they're so talented. There's people on there that are just so inspiring and they really are like social justice warriors. I'm really just so proud of the next generation and I feel I love watching their stuff or their dances and it's really I teach too, so I love watching my students blossom. Like it's the best.
when did you decide to start teaching? I mean, because you were a working actress. I mean,
Oh yeah.
you had a series. You're in demand. I mean, I know that I know you must get scripts every single week, and I'm not saying script like some people. I got a script this week. No, I'm saying scripts with a S because I mean I know that. So how why did you decide
So
to
I
teach?
started teaching like well god a while ago now, like 5 6 years ago I would say, but intervals, right? So like I teach when I'm not filming, because I really love teaching, and the person I teach for now, I mean that is our entire school, is that everybody there, everyone that teaches within that their program, we all are working actors. One of our teachers is in Aspen doing Jersey Boys, one of our teachers is in Atlanta filming something, and so we're all over the place, or I'm shooting in Vancouver, but I still, because I like there's something really. My mom's a professor. My grandmother was a professor. My aunt is a professor. So I've grown up in houses full of teachers, and it's been really pressed upon us to give back and to elevate people. And when you see that, there's just nothing better than watching somebody find that thing or that spark. And then when it sinks in and they're doing the work and it's so beautiful and you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. So I do that whenever I'm not working or I'm not directing or whatever. I also think that, when you get given so much, you have to share it. Because who knows who you're sharing it with? You could be sharing it with somebody that's about to make some brilliant piece of art and you get to go, wow, I was a piece of that somewhere in the background. I was a part of that. Like, that's amazing.
You're directing. It seems like there's more and more. It seems like there's a certain group of women from Canada. I know that. Speaking of Final Destination 2 had another terrific actress in it, Keegan Connor Tracy.
Oh yeah, yeah, she's directing too.
She is directing too. I'm watching you and her side by side. It's definitely two different styles.
What do you mean? You mean her and I, or do you just mean directing and acting?
No. In your directing, how you approach the process. I'm watching you guys side by side. You approach it differently.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like the thing with directing is it's like, and this is how I describe it: is acting is we get to be the paint, right? And then the director is the paintbrush. And the director, and the hand that holds the brush. And so as an actor, what's so wonderful is you get to explore the color yellow, all of the yellow, right? Or all of the pink. And you find the nuance in the pink. You find the streak you get to do all that just on the pink. The director gets every paint color and gets to like paint this beautiful painting and look at what they've done. And for me, I really, I'm a filmmaker, I'm not, I'm all three. I direct and I write and I act. I do all three. That's what I do. And I have a lot of story that I want to share. Somebody said to me, you did the acting to get their attention. Now you're filmmaking and asking yourself, why did I want that attention? What do you have to say to the world? And I thought, oh, that's really profound. What do I have to say to the world? And I think it's more just sharing pieces of me and experience, and maybe somebody out there will feel like that's them and feel like they're seen and heard through some of the storytelling that I do. Because that's how I feel when I watch films. I feel like somebody's speaking to me in a way that I really needed at that moment. So hopefully I can provide that.
The curtain, I mean, your very first, you did was the curtain your true first project that you did?
No, I did Becoming Sophie. That was terrifying, guys. My God, that was when I learned about anxiety. I remember lying on my kitchen floor and calling my mom, and I was like, something is happening. I'm having a panic attack. I don't know what's happening. I'm having a heart attack. And she was like, what's happening? I was like, my chest is tightening. I don't know. And she was like, oh, honey, that's anxiety. We all get that. I was like, I'm sorry, what? What is this? Like, I'd never even heard of this, mystical thing that she was talking about. She goes, it's going to be fine. Just go and prep your stuff and it'll go away. And it did. But
now, were you surprised at that? Because you would think that you would have already met anxiety earlier through, every audition, every time you went on set and everything else. And yet you didn't. You haven't been fazed by that. And all of a sudden it's like now you're directing your first project and now you feel that? I mean,
yeah, it was because acting, I've been when I walked on stage, even when I was like 5, I was like, oh, this is where I belong. There was no doubt in my mind that was what that space, even though I would get nervous at auditions and often bomb them. I'm still get nervous and I bomb them, but the nerves are different than this. This was like, oh my God, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I've told everybody I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing, and I remember my DOP at the time saying, do you have a shot list? And I was like, oh yeah, totally. I totally got a shot list. I didn't have a shot list. Like, I was like, I better Google shot list. I Googled shot list and was like, oh my God, and then I wrote on a shot list. And then I got to set and my DOP was like, oh, you're doing really great at it. And I was like, oh, yeah, totally. Oh my God, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Oh yeah. I ask a lot of people who are, got into the directing. I say, did you have a booklet with you? Were you sitting there when you weren't on set or doing a scene? Were you sitting there and taking notes for yourself, like, I'm gonna,
Oh yeah.
lighting? So you were doing that.
Yeah, I mean, and I had a script supervisor with me, and that's like their job too. They do a ton of that work for you. But I have a tendency to like, if there's a cliff and I see there's water under it, I'm like, "Oh, I should just jump. It'll be fine." And there might be 40 branches, and I might scratch myself, but I'm not gonna. I'll be fine. So that's usually how I handle things, is to just like dive right in. And that part I love. As much as I'm terrified, as much as I get that anxiety rush, I love learning new things. And now it's different because it's evolved. And when I get on set, it's now as a director, I'm very comfortable. I know what I'm doing, and it's not now it's different. Now I can really play
Oh yeah,
in
you
it.
definitely know what you're doing. I mean, The Curtain's a beautiful film.
Oh, thanks. I hope
Beautiful
you
film.
guys like my next one. I'm so
Afterglow. Talking to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I did a fundraiser and I had amazing people pitch in and help me out, although I may have to do another one because these film productions get so expensive. But uh, this is the first thing I've ever written, directed, and starred in, and I shot it during the pandemic. I mean, I guess we're still in the pandemic, so I had a camera op and a DOP. I produced the whole thing. I made the set deck. I built it. I had one for two of my sets. I had one room, so I just used half the room for one. Set decked everything. We kept shooting French and reversing, and then the other side was the other stage set, and we made it work, and I'm really proud of it. I have been it took me so long to get it. Like, we shot it, and it's just like the process has been so long because of everything that's happening in the world, and everything going on. But it all happened at exactly the right time. And for my postables listening, Martha always says, trust the timing. Um, and I have to say, the timing is correct in the way it's happening. I've met incredible people that I wouldn't have met had I tried to do this earlier. And like, my music is on point. I got an amazing music editor, and I've just been really fortunate. And I've been showing screeners to some people in the industry, and they really like it. I wrote a pilot to go with it. And essentially, the story is about an ex-adult film star who doesn't want to do it anymore, but nobody will give her a job because she was an ex-adult film star. So she's stuck in this rock and a hard place. And I wrote it based on my own experience. I wasn't an adult film, but I was in these hypersexualized roles for so much of my life, and I really believed that that was my only self-worth.
Do you regret those roles? Do you
No,
regret them?
I
God,
don't
thank
regret
you.
them.
Thank you.
I just wish I could go back and tell myself, like, it's not all you're worth. You know,
Oh, God, no.
you're worth a lot. And luckily, thank God for me, I have a mother who was like drilling that into my head since I was 5. She was like, "You're smart, you're smart, you're smart." And I'm like, but society really wants, for a very long time, and now still, um, women to be one thing that they want, right? They want to perch them up on these. You're the sexy Instagram girl. That's what we want you to be, and that's all we really want to see you as. And then you're the funny best friend one. So just stay in that lane. God
Uh,
forbid we were complex, and that we shift and change and have
Yeah,
this. So
I'll be honest with you. I got a complex, all right, because I get a complex when I see, when I see strong actors such as yourself. Like, I'm sitting there going like, how come she's always, like in a couple of Hallmark movies? It was just like, okay, because this happens to some other strong actresses too, and I'm just sitting there looking and going like, why are they always playing the second fiddle? Why are they playing the best friend? These women are beautiful and gorgeous, and they should be the lead. And
oh,
and get, yeah, yeah, I mean, I don't, and obviously Martha Williamson obviously felt the same way, because she
mm,
said what she did. She made you a lead, a
yes,
romantic lead. She
yeah,
made you a romantic lead.
yeah.
I love that. I love
And
that for you.
I mean, I do think Norman and Rita are super special because there's nobody like Norman and Rita on Hallmark. I really, on any of their shows. Norman and Rita are totally different. And we've been on Hallmark for a long time, so there's been a lot of changes at Hallmark, and we're starting to see more unique characters come up, right? Characters that we haven't seen on the channel before, but um, before that, we saw a lot of the, people that we might have seen in other things. So I think Norman and Rita are really great characters for Hallmark, because it was the world is filled with a lot of different people. Not
Well, let me
everybody,
ask you
of
this.
course.
Let me ask you this, and since you are fearless and fierce, because I've had this discussion with before with a fellow media person, about the Hallmark
Mhm.
situation. Um, because GAC came aboard and they took a lot of the stars away and a lot of the. I asked her. I said, did these people leave? Did they start another channel because Hallmark got diversified? And I mean, because pretty soon, because
Mhm.
you've read some of the comments. It's horrendous.
Yeah.
It's horrendous. They
Yeah,
show the first gay couple on there, and all of a sudden, you got hate. You got all the hate. You
I
show
know.
a black Christmas movie, and all of a sudden, you got hate. A
I know.
Jewish one, you got hate. And yet, it was just some so weird that all of a sudden, all the let's be honest, all the white people went from over here Hallmark, they all up and left. And if you look at the actors who left,
Mhm.
they all sort of walk with a right lean to it. So
Right.
why am I not surprised?
I I don't know most of those actors. I think the profession that we have is really weird. Okay. Because sometimes people just make choices for money too. I don't think
Yeah.
that's not a possibility either, and I
Mhm.
also agree with you. I think some people really put their values in certain things, and so they saw them themselves. I honestly think um, people are the hate comments come from fear. In my opinion, every emotion is driven by two: fear and love. Anger comes from fear. You're scared of losing something, or you're scared of sharing something because that means it's being taken from you. You're scared to lose yourself, or maybe that you are part of something that wasn't as pleasant as you thought it was, and that must make you bad, but you're not bad. And so people get angry because of that. Um, but the world is so unique. The United States is the most unique place in the planet. I mean, all these states are so different. I can't even get over it, right? Um, and everybody should be able to see themselves in a movie, and it matters. Like, it really matters. There is somebody sitting in their parents' basement who doesn't feel good about themselves and doesn't see anybody who thinks that they're great, or there's somebody who feels depressed and sad, and they see themselves on screen without even knowing, are like, oh my god, there I am. It's really crucial. And I've had people message me and say, I saw you, or I hear what you're saying, and I finally feel seen. I watch To the Boys, to the Boys with Love. Is that how what it is now? My brain is so mush. um to All the Boys with Love on Netflix when it came out, because I'm a rom-com person too. Like, I really love rom-coms. Uh, I sobbed during that movie, and I was like, "Why am I crying?" Oh, because it's an openly biracial character and a biracial family on screen. And they're not talking about them being biracial. They're just like existing in the world. And she's in a rom com. And then I realize it's because I've never seen that before. And without even understanding that I needed to see it, I needed to see it. I just needed to see a girl and a family that looked like mine falling
Yeah.
in love and being terrified her sister's going to find out. And, all the things that we either go through or want to go through. It,
Mhm.
what I will say is, to the people that are angry, you know, ask yourself what you're afraid of. What are you afraid of? What's making you angry? Because there's fear underneath it. Are you afraid you're going to lose something? You're not.
Maybe they're scared that they're more like the person they fear than they care to admit, which we've seen constantly.
Yeah.
And without getting deep into it, but
Mhm.
we've seen a lot of people out there raging the hardest against certain lifestyles and certain
Mhm.
choices, only to find out that those are the same lifestyles and choices they themselves are doing under in the dark in the cover of darkness.
Yeah, fear.
Their
They're
fear, what their fear
terrified.
is, their fear is to be exposed.
Yes. Yes.
So, uh, so I mean, so that's gonna be your pilot. You're gonna try a TV show. You're gonna try that now.
I mean, I'm gonna hit the festival circuit. That's the goal, and then see if anyone likes it. And then the people that when I campaigned, did a little the fundraising campaign. I'm gonna do like a screener for them, which is so exciting. I can't wait to
Yeah.
like show people and see their reactions. when I watch people watch it, I am like, I don't watch the film because I've seen it 50,000 times. But I love watching people watch it, right? Because I'm seeing like, did that joke land? Did that cue land? Is that, oh no, they liked it. Okay, we're in good, we're in good shape. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited for you because this is a whole new chapter, and you've had some wonderful teachers. You've had Martha, and you have Kevin Fair. Kevin Fair is a very good director.
Yeah, he is really good. And I'll say the thing he taught me was either they have to be moving or the camera's got to be moving. I never forgot him saying that, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then I started directing. I was like, "Got it." He's very good with keeping things. And because our show is really dialogue heavy, we always call them Martha mouthfuls. But she has a lot of good stuff to say, right? So because it's dialogue heavy and we're talking a lot, it's always lovely to have it in motion while it's happening. We're not just sitting having a conversation. We're walking and moving, and we're picking something up, or as you do in life, sometimes you have these deep conversations while you're like getting your mail, and then you leave and you're like, we just talk about for the last 20 minutes. Oh my God, I think we just talked about the creation of life. And I didn't even
Um,
know.
what was it like when you auditioned to play Rita? Because I mean, you and Kristen and Jeff. I mean, I know Erica just came from Ugly Betty. He came over from that. That just had ended a little while before.
Yeah.
And then Kristen had, she was, also known more as a dramatic actress per se. She did she did a really good movie called The Call with
Okay.
Susan Sarandon.
Yeah.
There's another little actress in there that played her daughter named Ella Ballantyne.
Oh, cute. I haven't
Oh
seen
my
that.
God. You know who Ella is?
No.
Oh my gosh. I reviewed a movie when I started doing my film reviews.
Hmm.
I did a God, I have to go back and tell you the name of the movie, but it was with Thomas Jane and Lawrence Fishburne. And
Oh,
she played this character named Bird, and I saw that and I'm going, oh my gosh, she's destined for huge things. And
yeah.
then yeah, she's um yeah, it's how did you how did you how did you get the role? Because that's the thing that got me the most. It's like I'm like, wow, this is so different for her.
I was the
I'm
last person to get cast. They brought me in on a
really
Monday. Yeah, they couldn't find Rita. They'd been looking for her forever. Nobody could agree on what was the right person for her. And then they brought me in on Monday. I argued with my agents. I called them and said, why am I going out for this? I'm not going to book this. What is this?
oh no, really?
Yeah, I thought they sent me the wrong side. So I was like, I think you sent me the wrong gig. I don't think I should be going out for this. And they were like, no, they want to see you. I was like, really? All right. I guess they were desperate at that point. They were like, just bring anybody in. And I thought,
Wow.
okay. And I remember showing my husband it, and he was like, are you going to do it like that? I was like, I don't know how else to do it. Like, this is not something I normally do. And I went in, I think that's why I booked it, because I did not think in a million years I would book the job. So I had like no stress. I went in with no makeup and glasses and was like, I don't care. All these girls walking around stressed out, trying to memorize lines. And I was like, I'm not going to book this. Who cares? And then I did it. And Martha tells the story, but there's a line that she says, this is the first time, I've never actually been in love. And that was in the pilot. And she said that when I said that, it sounded like the first time she'd ever heard it. And I knew once I started reading, I was like, oh, she likes me. Oh, weird. She likes me. And then I got the test offer. I mean, I got the offer that night to start shooting Wednesday, but I had tested for another series and was up for number 2 on the call sheet on that show. And then they called, but it wasn't an offer yet, And so when they called me, they were like, we really want her for that, but we can't give her an offer yet. And so
Yeah.
it was a real, I had to sit in the coffee shop, and then Martha called me and said, I will write for you every day if you take our show. I'm like, how am I going to say no to that? So I
She
am.
knew.
Yeah, she was. And then, when I saw the pilot, because I panicked in the pilot and I was like, oh, I'm getting fired from this. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, this is a crazy thing.
Wow.
Yeah. And then,
It's really
after the
amazing
pilot,
though, because you're so perfect. I mean, it really yeah. I mean, you're so perfect for the role.
thank
It's
you. Well,
because it's the last thing we expect you to be in, which is what makes it perfect. Because now we see a whole different side of you, and
yeah.
that's what's really fun.
Yeah, it really, once Martha and I talked about it, and we kind of came up with the word together of innocence. Rita is innocent
Oh, very
in
much.
everything. She really genuinely is. When she's mad, It doesn't come from, it's because she's confused, and she would never hurt a fly, but she'll defend her friends. She's a really good human being. Um, and that's when once I realized she was innocent, I was like, okay, I know what to do. And then we got on set, and that was it.
Well, it's like she's innocent, and Norman, he's a functioning autistic.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. That's
Yes.
the very first time very second he saw his character, that's the first thing he immediately thought of. He's a high functioning autistic.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love how they formed that Oliver became more and more less his friend and more like a father figure, which
Yeah.
I thought was really, or maybe big brother.
Yeah, I'm sure Eric would say big brother instead of father figure.
Sorry, Eric.
How dare you? Now, just checking.
And so I saw that, and I just saw how the one episode where you're helping the boy in witness protection, and the lady left her stamps to Norman, and he's just sitting so brokenhearted, and he just, I cried, all right, I did, all right.
Everybody did. Jeff cried. I cried. Everyone's crying in there. Everyone cries. Every read through of Martha's, we're all in there sobbing, and I'm not joking. Like, everybody's crying and sobbing, and I'm like, oh my God. You would think I'd be used to this by now, and I'm not. Still crying, and I've been doing this for like 6-7 years. So.
The Christmas episode, the movie you did with Rob S.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was great. That was a beautiful one. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my favorite one.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful film.
That's the closest Martha got to like Touched by an Angel. I was going like, okay, are we gonna get this going forward? Because I was really sort of hoping. I was like, maybe we'll see him down the line, and I'm going like, oh, please do that, please.
Yeah, right. She just left that little piece in there. It was nice.
Now, were you writing before that? I mean, what inspired you to start screenwriting?
I wanted to filmmake. I just really I loved the directing, and I was like, you know what, I have story to tell. I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to learn. And so I just said, okay, I got to start trying. Writing is the most difficult one of all the mediums. Acting, directing, I feel totally comfortable in. Writing is like, it's really hard. It's a lot of work. There's a lot of structure.
It's hard when you have an empty room, but you're also a mom, and so that really makes it hard.
Yes. But also my children have ripped my heart open. So I feel empathy for every single human being, because now I'm like, oh, everybody is somebody's child. And they brought out any walls that were built up, they brought down. And they're the best. They're the most inspiring part of my life. They're the reasons why I can understand life in a way that I do now. And it's much more inspiring to write because of them. For sure.
Now, when you were still working and you started seeing, friends like Shell, and they started having their babies and their families, did that spark something in you? Did that, when you saw what they had, did you say,
I always wanted them. I just didn't know when. And then all of a sudden I turned 32, and I was like, I'm ready for a baby. Like that was it. I was like, okay, let's do this. And then I had my daughter, and once I had my daughter, I was like, oh man, this is exhausting. And I am so tired, and I haven't slept or done anything for myself or brushed my hair. And it's so worth it. And that's so annoying. Same with my son. I was like, I hate being pregnant. Those women that say they love it, I think they're lying. I hate it.
They're lying. My mom had two brothers after me, and she hated it.
I hate every minute of it. And then I hate even more when people say it's going to be worth it. And you know what? They're right. And I hate that too. And then when he came out, I was like, damn it.
You know what? If a woman says that to another woman, it's going to be so worth it. More power to them, because they can relate. But a guy comes up there and says something like that, I just want to turn around and I just want to bitch slap him. Like, shut up, because we have no idea what they're feeling.
I know. But I mean, it's right. He is worth it, and he's so cute. And I'm done now. Like 2 is good. I'm good. I don't need any more.
That's not one more for a basketball team.
No. You know what? If I ever have another child, I really, and I've been thinking so much about the foster care system lately, because it's so overwhelmed, and there's so many kids that age out. I really would like to start working with foster children and like training myself on going to take courses to train how to do that. So if we ever did that, it would be probably that avenue. And finding a forever home for somebody, that would be more what I'd be leaning towards. I've already done.
I guess I should ask this question, because I know people will come ask me for this. Are we gonna get any more? Are we gonna get any more Postables adventures, or is Hallmark? Yeah, still don't know.
I still don't know.
I don't understand. I don't understand it
Well,
because they lost so much. They
I know.
lost so many series. I mean, when they lost Candice Bure, they lost so many series. The Aurora Tea Garden series.
Yeah. I
That
will
was the
say
second.
everybody I've talked to at Hallmark seems very positive about it. I don't think that it's over. I don't know what capacity. I don't know what's going. Like they, I'm only hearing really positive things. I just think it takes time to get the deals together and figure out what's going on. But I would lean more towards hopeful than not. I just don't know when.
The ratings have gone up. The ratings have gone up every single movie.
I know, I know, because people love
Yeah,
it. It's great.
Did they tell you why did they decide to go to the movie format instead of series format? I mean,
I don't
because you did the
really
first.
know. I honestly don't.
That was strange.
I think that, but to be honest, I think it's better for Martha's writing because her writing is so rich. The 2 hour format was better for her, I think, in weaving those stories. Every story has like 1,000 things in it. So, I get 6. Oh my God! I just realized I have to run out the door.
Yep. Yeah, I was watching it. I have a minute over. Genesis says, us postals are working on that very hard.
I know.
Yes. Listen, we did say we talked for an hour. I will do that because we can do this again sometime soon.
Yes.
Yes. I was hoping you would say that.
Yes,
I was crossing my fingers like, what if I just sit there and say, we could do this again sometime, right?
And I'm like, okay, bye.
Yeah, we'll let you go. And thank you, everybody. Well, everybody can stay here for a minute. I want to say thank you, Crystal, so much, and we'll stay in touch, obviously.
Thank
and
you,
yeah,
and everybody else that joined. I love you, and the gratitude is overflowing constantly, and I hope I bring some joy and laughter to you guys whenever I can. Thank you.
You certainly have. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon. Bye. All right, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I'll talk for a couple more minutes to fill up my time slot here. It's a little short of an interview. Thank you guys so much for supporting the interview. I know you could have been on another stream. I know you could have been on another channel, but I'm glad you're here at this one. I really do appreciate it so much. We will probably not be back tomorrow night, so I don't suspect. I don't. So this will be the last show until September. So thank you so much for coming out for this one. I have all the shows that I've done already. They're sitting in playlist in my on the playlist. You can go over there and grab. I put them in segments of 25 episodes a piece. You can go over there and take a look at some of the other interviews we've had. We've interviewed Courtney Gaines. We've interviewed Sadie Cass. We've interviewed Meredith Muller. I think those are all the ones that Hobbs likes. We've interviewed Paul Green. Whoever. We have a ton of people that you can go read or watch our interviews with. I always struggle closing the show. I don't know what it is when I close a show. But thank you guys so much. We are working on some stuff for September. I can tell you, without telling you a name, I can tell you that one of the guests that will be coming in September, it will be their second visit. It's a very good friend of ours and of the show, and I can't wait to see her again. I'm so excited. And she says she's gonna come out hang with us in September. And we got some other things for you too. I don't know everything yet, but we'll be back. No, I have never interviewed Jennifer Tilly. I don't think I could afford Jennifer Tilly. Interview Sarah Jessica Parker. Yeah, if that was the last person on Earth and I was on my way out, I'd probably do that. No, honestly, if I got a chance to interview Sarah Jessica Parker, I would, I guess. I would much rather interview Chris Noth or Kristen Davis or Cynthia Nixon. Kim Cattrall. Yeah, I would definitely want to do that. Yeah, if you guys have some questions. I'm going to be coming back on probably a little bit later on tonight. I feel like I want to talk. So maybe at 10 o'clock, the Midnight Hour is on Hobbs Horror channel. Hobbs Horror is hosting the Midnight Hour. They too have a celebrity guest today. They're welcoming in a very renowned and very respected cosplayer named Kentucky Kruger as the Midnight Hour continues their deep dive into the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. That's right. And this Sunday, me and the Bat, we're going to be talking about dogs. And we'll also be on Video Tasty Show tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Him and I will be on Video Tasty Show, and we're talking ghost movies. All right. Thanks so much for showing up. If you're new to the channel, please consider giving us a sub. If you haven't already, and hit the notification bell and give us a thumbs up. Thanks so much, and we will talk to you in September. Peace.